what it does do. This is the first ever episode of Zero Given, presented by nobody yet, actually, since we're brand new. My name's Ian. I'm here with my dad. You can go by many names. Tell him what you want to tell him.
Go by Brandon. Ian can call me sir or father, but all the rest of you can call me Brandon. Nice to meet you.
Brandon? Okay. I just want to say before we get going here with everything, I'm super excited to do this. I think, me and sir have been quite adamant about doing this for a little bit now. We are always talking about whatever it is for hours upon end, whether it's in the living room or the porch. So to get it recorded on a podcast, I think is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's been a long day, but we're going to get through this, but I'm sure it'll get better as we go on.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So what exactly is our podcast? So I think what we can describe it as is that mostly it's going to be mostly sport, especially when football hits. Like, you guys ever watch like Part of My Take or something like that? Like, when football hits, we're really going to slam the football. Obviously we're going to cover some basketball, but mostly just Sixers related. We're big Sixers guys, so and when the playoffs comes around, we'll definitely be talking about that a lot. And then you guys are gonna get a lot
I'm
of.
gonna be honest with you, we're a little Philly centric.
Yeah, very.
I was born there. I kind of brought my passion here, and my sons have taken it over. So we're just gonna be honest up front about it. It's gonna be slightly biased, but
Absolutely.
But we will be fair when it comes to all of the realms. I promise you.
Yeah. When the off season hits, though, it's definitely gonna be a lot more like we're gonna be talking about the most random shit possible. But so first, I think we want to talk about the Eagles and their outlook, like how the season went and how wrong I was. I wasn't a big Hurts guy heading into the year. I thought, hey, we're building around him, getting ready so we can have another maybe 10-7 season, get into the wild card, maybe win the division, because the NFC East is usually terrible, and but then the next year use both our draft picks to trade up and get a quarterback. So but Jalen's blown me out of expectations. Howie, you're forgiven for everything. You've made an incredibly talented roster, and I'm
at the beginning of this season, I thought they'd go 12-5 going through the schedule. The schedule is a little sus, as has been being pointed out all year long. I thought 12-5 was a very reasonable number, even though a lot of people thought that was a little high. And they exceeded my expectations, so I'm really happy where we're at. And, man, I'm pumped for Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday is gonna be pretty exciting. So, like you said, 12-5 before the season, right? What exactly brought you to thinking that hey, they're gonna go 12-5 this year? Because I don't think anyone had.
This was obviously this was after the draft, after the trades were acquired, stuff like that.
That's before CJ Gardner-Johnson.
We were 9, could have been 10-win team the year prior, and we improved the roster tremendously over the offseason.
Yeah.
And I said, going through the schedule, you just go game by game. I'm looking each week, and I'm like, why can't they win that game? Why can't they win that game? I mean, notoriously, you're going to lose maybe one or two in the NFC East just because it's the nature of the beast. Yeah. But, you look at their out-of-conference and out-of-division schedule, and it was kind of soft.
It was pretty soft, yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, if that one game against Washington with Hurts starting, it was a fluky game to say the least. So, we could be sitting here today with Hurts at a starting quarterback saying, this is an undefeated Eagles team. It's not, and I'm kind of glad it isn't. I think it would have added a little too much pressure going into the playoffs, into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think they're playing a little looser than they would have been if they were undefeated. Hell, even that Dallas game, Gardner Minshew, you even up the turnovers in that game. We win that game too.
Yeah.
really the only stinker we played all year, or probably the last 2 games of the year, were the Saints and the Giants.
Yeah, that Giants game was pretty brutal. But
Saints game, they were looking uninterested. You're going to have those, I say. I'm kind of glad they got them out of the way, and we got the bye week exactly. Well, we got the top seed, which gave us that bye, which was desperately needed.
Yeah, that was much needed.
They needed to regroup, refocus, and you've seen how they came out against the Giants, and they brought their stick with them.
Yeah.
And that contest wasn't close.
No.
So
that wasn't close. I definitely that was really nice to have that bye week, especially with the Jalen sprain. You had Lane dealing with, it was a groin injury, right? It was a groin. That definitely.
Yeah, it's a torn groin.
Yeah, and he's still playing on it, and he's played amazing all playoffs. I mean, held Bosa to, I think, only 1 pressure or something like that the entire game, which is incredible.
0 sacks in over 2 years. It's a tough stat.
You can't really beat that one, I tell you.
Right, and he shut down Thibodeau and Bosa in consecutive weeks. I feel pretty good going into the Super Bowl with Lane's groin, and I think another couple weeks for Hurts to get that shoulder rested up, because I'm going to tell you right now, last 2 weeks Hurts hasn't been right.
No, he hasn't been playing like Jalen Hurts.
They haven't asked him to throw the ball a ton.
No.
And he was getting up there a little high, a little low. His accuracy is a little off. I think he's favoring that shoulder a little bit, but I think everyone's going to do what they have to do to be on their A game come Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm not too concerned with that. Yeah,
you look at again, like you said earlier about like what they've asked of Jalen. I mean, it's basically nothing. His shoulder, it definitely, like, it looks off. I mean, he's been playing his ass off, though, 100%. Like, you could tell by the 49ers game he was taking a whooping, but kept playing, kept running hard. He's definitely a Philly guy, I tell you, and I'm more than happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think luckily they went a little conservative to play calling in the second half of that championship game. Which,
makes sense.
I mean, we were really in no danger, and there's really no sense of getting players injured or putting too much out on the film that you don't have to. So, I mean, the playoffs have worked out pretty well for us. When you can rest starters in your 2 playoff games in the fourth quarter, you're doing pretty good.
So since we were just talking about how we're feeling about Sunday, let's just look at the Super Bowl in general right now. I really don't see a world how exactly Philly can lose this game. I mean, if we lose, it's just like, it's just turnovers. I feel like, if you ask me, I've
been a Philly fan for 46 years now, so I can see how things can go south. So don't press the football gods.
I'm not trying to press no gods. I'm just, you look at the rosters, right, and the talent difference. I mean, besides the quarterback and tight end position, it's miles in Philadelphia's favor. I mean, you look at the offensive line. I know Kansas City, they do have a good offensive line, nowhere near the caliber of Philadelphia. I don't think they can handle that defensive line.
It's still a top 3-4 line in the league. It's not the quality of Philadelphia's, but it's still top 3-4.
Yeah, but again, you look at our defensive line.
The interior of the line, the tackles are a little suspect, but their center and guard combinations.
No. Joe Thuney, you got Creed Humphrey. I mean, those are 2 great interior offensive linemen. Creed Humphrey was the highest graded center, which is complete BS, but whatever. According to PFF, they have a good offensive line. It's just Philly has literally the best defensive line in football, along with the best offensive line in football. You got Josh Sweat, you got Hassan Reddick, you got Javon Hargrave, you got Brandon Graham, all those guys with 10+ sacks. You got Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis on the interior. Fletcher Cox is in 2018 Fletcher Cox from the last Super Bowl team, but he still takes up space, he still eats up blocks, he still gets pressure. You look at Jordan Davis, the kid's an animal.
When you got Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, Ndamukong Suh,
Linval Joseph
coming off the bench for spelling guys, I'd call that pretty deep tackle rotation.
Yeah, that defensive tackle rotation is ridiculous, and the edge rotation is still pretty good. If Derek Barnett was healthy, it would be ridiculous.
Right. Unfortunately, he was one of our only long-term key injuries this year, and I say that's another thing you can say is we fortunate to be pretty healthy this year.
Yeah, other years where we're supposed to have really good rosters, I think we've suffered from injuries. 2019 was a really good example of that.
Even 2017,
yeah,
Super Bowl run.
Yeah, Super Bowl
you lose
run.
your starting quarterback. That's
your
tough.
quarterback and your left tackle.
And left tackle.
And your middle linebacker.
Right. So we've been down that road. So going into the bowl with all 22 starters from opening day, that's pretty significant.
Do you think this is Kelsey's last game?
Jason's. Yeah, if they win, I think it is.
I think so too. I think.
I mean, we all listen to. Well, I know we listen to the pod.
Yeah.
I think he's leaning that way. I really do.
It sounds like that every time he talks about it. I'm gonna be honest.
He's expecting his third child, and he's. If he gets go out all pro, a Super Bowl champ, I mean, hell. What better way to do it, But you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when he does call it, he's going to call it. There's not going to be a Brett Favre, Tom Brady reunion tour or anything like that.
Yeah, I really doubt that one. I also think so too. I think you have Cam Jurgens, or the backup rookie from Nebraska. He's right there. I'm very excited to see him play.
Great prospect. I mean, it's nice to know that, and I said. We are a little Philly biased, but it's hard to argue that Jason Kelsey isn't a Hall of Fame center when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
But yeah, our rookie draft pick, he great potential, and I think he's going to fill in nicely. Is there going to drop off from Hall of Fame to unknown player? I'm assuming so.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
But well, let's give it some time. But I think he's an NFL player, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing but praise about Cam Jurgens all training camp, all throughout the season. I think the front office and the coaching staff also understand that they are comfortable with Jason leaving, with a very strong backup. And also you have your interior is already really good. The one thing I'm worried about though is this is Seumalo's contract year. I don't know if they're gonna bring him back or not. But I would like that. But again, we have to be factoring in Jalen Hurts' contract extension that's going to be coming up next year.
We have a whole offseason to discuss this with free agency and contracts and all that stuff. It's going to be tough to retain him. I think he's going to get a really large offer on the open market.
Oh, probably. He's going to get a bag.
So, I mean...
Any Philly lineman always gets a bag.
Right, so, I mean, it's going to be tough. But, I mean, that's a whole subject on its own let's win the Super Bowl, then we can talk about retaining what we have.
So for Kansas City, right, is there anything in particular you're nervous about when it comes to them?
Oh, yeah, Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean.
Me too.
That is what makes everyone nervous. It should be anyway.
Yeah, so it's just the high ankle sprain. You know what I mean? That's a really tough injury, but he's shown he can play on it, which is incredible. I can't believe it. I mean, he does have the mobility, though. I watched, like, even watch the Cincinnati game. It was hard for him to get away from pressure. When he got hit late on that last play from the linebacker, dude, he was hobbling. He's definitely in some pain.
The thing about Mahomes is, I mean, and he's always done he never throws on platform anyway.
No.
So, he relies a lot on his natural given arm strength, and I mean that's how he plays. I mean, every highlight you see of Mahomes throwing, but he's not sitting there with a perfect drop back and 5-7 step drop and perfect overhand throw. That's not Mahomes' game. His game is backyard football. But we will have to see. But I think he's gonna be up to the challenge.
Yeah. For me, it's Travis Kelce. The Eagles have notoriously, throughout any defensive coordinator we have, cannot guard a tight end to save your life.
Well,
and now we have to play the best tight end in football in the Super Bowl. I mean, listen, we have some great pieces that definitely can guard Travis Kelce. I don't know, shut him down. Like, we got, like, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We have Marcus Epps. We got T.J. Edwards. Kazir White, who's, like, known for his pass coverage. We got guys that can guard him. There's no way that we shut him down. There's no way you can take Travis Kelce out of the game. I really doubt it. And when we talk about our player props later, I'll just reaffirm it why. Like, there's no way we're able to guard him.
No, and it goes back to Mahomes. You're not totally shutting down either of them. It's they're going to get theirs, So, I mean, even if Kelsey goes off for another, 10, 15 catch game and gets, tutty or two, if that's all they get, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, even if they do their part,
Mhm.
if we shut down the rest of the team,
Yeah,
stars are going to get theirs. That's just the way it is.
I have no fear about their defense at all. I think we're going to run the ball all day on them. We're going to run it right at their mouth.
I think the scoring's going to be a lot higher than people think.
Yeah.
Even though we do have a very very talented defense. We'll get into the final game predictions here shortly, but yeah, I mean, they're not going to stop us. We're going to slow them down, and I think we can run the ball well on them.
Yeah, I think the big thing this game is going to be time of possession. I feel like what teams used to do in the past when they played against the Chiefs, and had success, is that they just run the crap out of the ball, give Mahomes the ball for as little as possible, and just keep it out of his hands. And I think the Eagles are going to do that very effectively.
Well, that's the Redskins' formula against us when they beat us.
Yeah, Commanders.
Sorry, PC show.
Yeah, PC.
It's hard after so many years of calling them one thing. But anyway, that was their game plan. It was, control the clock, run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked to an extent because the time of possession was very skewed, but I think the 4 turnovers helped that quite a bit as well.
Too. Yeah, that too. And we didn't have Jordan Davis that game either. So I mean, who's our main run stopper? But we're not gonna make excuses. We lost. We lost.
No.
But I think Kansas City, again, like you said, it's gonna be a lot higher score of a game than people give it credit for. I think but I will say, I think Mahomes is going to be under pressure the whole game. I think this Eagles defensive line is going to terrorize Patrick Mahomes. Now, I know it kind of sounds crazy given the Chiefs' offensive line, but it's shown multiple times. Like we've played against great offensive lines, right? We've played extremely well against Dallas. We played extremely well against San Francisco this past. In the NFC Championship. The Giants, even though I know they're not the best offensive line, they have they have Andrew Thomas, who's an incredible tackle, right? And he was getting worked all game. Like, any offensive line this deep, I think our defensive line is honestly the most underrated part of our team, and people don't talk about it enough. I think the offensive line gets a ton of praise now, which they finally are getting after 5 years we've been saying this over and over again. The Eagles have the best offensive line in football, and people are agreeing with that. Now it's the defensive line that is super underrated. The Eagles, as long as Howie Roseman's their GM, right, no doubt we will have a top 5 unit in the trenches, both sides of the ball. There's no way. We could have the worst linebackers in the NFL, the worst corners in the NFL, the worst secondary, and the worst weapons. Our trenches will be the best. It will be competing with the best, always.
Yeah, that's, sans a couple years there. I mean, that's why they've been competitive, pretty much throughout the 2000s. They've always invested quite a bit in the trenches, and it pays off, where, we might have lacked in some areas. They've always been at least solid in the trenches. But this year we added a little bit of spice to the rest of the roster to go on top of that. So it's really worked out.
Adding what could arguably end up being the greatest receiver in franchise history in A.J. Brown.
He can certainly get there.
I mean, first year already broke the receiving record, and Smith already broke.
17 games.
I know people want to say 17 games, and all that stuff, but he did have Gardner Minshew throwing him the football for 2 games, so I think he also gets a crutch for that. And but he's a physical freak. Again, I don't really see AJ and Devontae really getting involved that much though. I could see Goddard getting involved a lot though. But again, like I said, this will be a really run heavy game. Expect
they're man. I don't know. They usually do the opposite of what I think they're going to do.
That's true.
They should come out, run the ball. I'm going to tell you right now, early, they're going to AJ deep. off of play action.
Probably.
I disestablish him. He's the type of receiver I think that needs touches early in the game.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get him going.
And he makes a good big play or two. Even if he doesn't touch the ball the rest of the game, it sets a tone and it opens things up for the rest of the guys. That's where Smitty really starts to shine. I mean, we're talking about rosters. Arguably you could say the Chiefs have the 3 top players in this game with Mahomes, Kelsey,
and Chris Jones.
Now, you go beyond that, we probably have 15 of the top 20 players in this game.
Yeah, and even then, I think Chris Jones at 3 is pretty arguable. I think Kelsey might be a little bit better.
And I got quit saying we. Philly has probably I would say 15 of the top 20 players.
Time too. People get really upset about that one. The whole we thing.
No,
you're not on the team.
I get it. I said we open up being we're going to be slightly biased here, but it's a big week, so bear with us.
No, absolutely.
But so do I think we should win this game? Absolutely. Does a year that's played out in front of my eyes say so? I think so.
Yeah, this roster's incredible. All right, well, we keep talking about it. We keep.
We should move on.
Let's give the score predictions. What do you got?
I'm calling it 34-27 Philly.
Not too far off mine. I have 31-24 Philly. I think. Again, like you said, it's gonna be a big run thing, but I think there's gonna be a play action that absolutely just obliterates Kansas City's defense. But Mahomes is still gonna get his. Mahomes will probably end up having another 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. But
I mean, KC has some, some of the kids are playing good, but they have a ton of rookies on the back end of that defense.
Yeah, they have a lot of injuries in the back end of that defense.
And we have
too.
3 very good veterans between Goddard, AJ, and Smith. So
yes,
they're gonna get theirs.
Yeah, I can't imagine. The thing is that I get it. I guess the narrative all week is Kansas City has a really good run defense. That doesn't matter. We just destroyed the number 1 run defense in the NFL.
Anytime I hear number one run D, we usually go for over 2 bills.
Yeah, so that doesn't concern me.
If they go for 2 bills in the Super Bowl, they're winning.
Oh, for sure.
I mean. Going away, most likely.
Yeah, I got 24-31.
24-31.
31-24.
31-24.
Yeah, for Philly.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I got 34-27. So I mean, if you
still
do it responsibly, but if you're a betting man, I'd take Philly in the over.
Yeah, no, I definitely take Philly in the over. They're definitely gonna slam that money line too. So let's talk about player props since you were speaking of betting. Do you want to give me your first?
So we're doing prop 1 guy per team, right?
Yeah. So 1 guy on Philadelphia and 1 guy in Kansas City. What are your locks?
So I have 1 for each here. I'll start with Philly.
Okay.
My prop is A.J. Brown having 1 reception over 25.5 yards.
Oh, okay. So we're getting a little niche pick here. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. That's -115. I'm going to tell you right now, I said even if he only gets 1, he's getting at least 1 of 40.
Yeah.
I just think it's a no-brainer. I'm telling you right now, they're going deep early first quarter, probably first possession. They're going to set a tone. I'm guarantee there's a play drawn up to get AJ deep. And they're gonna connect on it. They missed on a couple of them the last couple of weeks.
It's because of Jalen's shoulder. Like we said earlier.
I think they're gonna connect this week, and it's gonna look like basically throughout 90% of this regular season, where he's catching at least 1, 30, 40, 50 yarder.
And usually, most of the games this year, I say it's we always have a drive that starts off where we throw we're why aren't we running the ball, but we throw it a ton and we end up getting a touchdown at the end, and then after that we just run the ball an absolute ton.
I hope they come out running the ball, but watching this team for many years, I can see him throwing deep first pass, first play of the game.
Yeah.
So,
especially with Stipend's play calling. I'll give you mine for Philly. It's So right now, according to Vegas, the over/under for Miles Sanders rushing yards is 62.5.
Okay.
I'm slamming the over on that. That's not even close. Miles is going to get like 20 to 25 carries this game. There's no way he doesn't.
I doubt that. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Gainwell's been getting more and more work share as this year's gone on, and especially evident in the playoffs. I mean, Miles is going to get some touches, but I can see him and Gainwell basically 1-for-1 as far as touches go. I think Sanders' average would be high. I just don't know if he's going to get the volume.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, if you look at when all the Gainwell touches came, it was like garbage time. If you watch the Giants game, Sanders got literally almost every carry.
Right.
And then you watch the 49ers game, right? In the first half, Sanders basically got every carry.
Hey, I'm hoping.
But
I'm just saying with the way they spread the ball around on the ground, it's hard to. It would be hard for me to bet responsibly on, a rushing prop bet for the Eagles because there's 4 guys that are rushing the ball.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. Sanders, I feel like has just been like his efficiency in the play. I think he's just been great. And even though I'm a big Miles Sanders hater, I think he's gonna get it. Do you want to
hater? Why are you a hater?
I just don't think he's that talented.
Wow.
Compared to, that's a different topic. We can talk about that later.
Off-season topic.
That I guess that's an off-season topic when we talk about
we can definitely have a debate on that.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go to my Kansas City prop bet.
Yep.
This is the rushing total over 18.5 for Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my God. There's no way.
I'm taking the over. And this number's been being pushed down all week. Obviously, he has a high ankle sprain, but
can he even run 18 yards down the field?
I'm going to tell you right now that D-line is going to get after him so much, and he's going to be walking. We're not going to put a spy on him.
No way.
So they're not going to spy him.
Yeah,
the D-line's going to break that protection down all game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're going to get him a few times, but he's going to squirt out the backside of the pocket or something here and there. 18 and a half yards is not a lot.
No, it's not.
And, I mean, if he didn't have that bum ankle, I guarantee this number would be a lot higher.
Oh, yeah. No, what do you think? It's like probably like 30 and a half.
I would say 30 to 32, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, if he didn't have the bum ankle. That's the only reason why I'm going to disagree on that. It's just the ankle. And I understand what you're thinking. You're thinking here. It's just, the high ankle sprain, it's just, it's like one of the worst injuries you can get in football for your mobility.
It's the last game of the season. He's going to suck it up.
He's going to grit it out, for sure. But
he's going to get a shot. He's not going to feel it's going to be stiff. But I just think there's ample opportunity for him to gain some yards in a broken pocket.
Yeah.
And, there's going to be a couple of them backbreakers where we have 4 guys that are ready to pounce on him, and he's just going to squirt up the middle or something and get 7-8 yards for a first down.
Yeah.
And do that twice, the prop hits. Just about.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So my Kansas City one. I was talking about it a little bit earlier. It's Travis Kelce, and Vegas has it right now at 7.5, and I'm taking the over.
Receptions.
Yeah, receptions. Yeah, 7.5 catches. They're definitely gonna feed Kelce. It's the Kelce Bowl for a reason. That's why people are calling it.
Yeah, they're gonna feed him. You know why? Because
they don't have anything else.
They're getting blanketed on the outside.
Yeah.
So they're gonna work the middle. They're gonna work the middle of the whole game because that's what teams have to do.
And for all of our responsible bettors out there, any Kansas City receiving yard prop or catches prop for any of their wide receivers, do not take the over.
No.
Do not take the over.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be some guy you never thought of that's going to lead that team in receiving yards.
Dude, they'll probably throw like a bomb to Sky Moore or something like that. And
on a busted coverage, something like that.
And we don't bust coverages too often. We have a really good secondary. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna watch James Bradbury chuck Juju into their bench, and then just again, our corner duo is elite. The team's elite. Like you said, they're gonna press the outside. The middle of the field is definitely gonna get worked though, because T.J. Edwards, even though I love him to death, I think he's a great linebacker. coverage is not his strong suit. Even though he's been pretty solid this year, he's not taking care of Travis Kelce. But
he's one of the higher rated coverage. I mean, but there's no one's covering Kelce.
That's what I'm saying. Like nobody's covering Kelce. I said, he's been good this year, but nobody's covering Kelce unless it's like Fred Warner.
No, he's gonna get his. I said he can get his, and Mahomes can get a little bit of his, and I say even if Kelce gets it all, no one else steps up, we're good.
Yeah, I'm thinking like for Kelce, I'm thinking of a stat line like 9 catches for like 120 to 130 yards and about 2 TDs. He's like, if this was a fantasy football game, you'd be pretty happy with Travis Kelce on your lineup. But anyhow, so after we're done with that, I think we're done talking about the Super Bowl, and we can talk about more Super Bowls as we're gonna be ranking the last 10 Super Bowl champion teams. So I think the way we're gonna do this, right? You want to go like I do 10, you do 10, I do 9, you do 9, right? Like you want to do something like that?
Sure.
Okay, that's a good idea. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Go ahead, man.
All right. Well, so for my number 10 spot, I'm doing. I know this might upset some people. I'm doing the 20.
No matter what you say, this is gonna upset
that's
everybody.
probably, but it is zero given. So
Exactly.
it's the 2015 Broncos.
Really?
Yeah, I have. That offense was so terrible. Like it was, like literally, like go look at the number. Like that is Peyton Manning literally played like the worst quarterback in football that year. That team was bad offensively. They had a solid O-line. That was really about it that they had going from. Their defense was incredible.
Let's say they had
they had an incredible Aqib
a
Talib,
really nasty defense.
Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Brandon Marshall as a linebacker. Their defense was awesome. I love that 2015. Again, like I'm not trying to diss them. Like I mean, this is a Super Bowl winning team. I love that defense. I was rooting for them to win the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
Because I wanted Peyton to get another one. I mean, he's like one of my favorite players ever. But nothing really like. Again, this is like probably like by far the weakest offensive team. It's probably the best defensive team here, or not the best. I think we can argue about that, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the best defense. I'm sorry, I take that back. I didn't mean that. I was just saying.
Yeah.
Word vomit.
Yeah.
But a very talented defense, but again, like very easy role. If you just look at the playoffs, like I mean, they just didn't play well. Payne played like garbage in the Super Bowl. If Cam Newton, like if the Panthers don't fumble that, like if the Panthers don't play as bad as they did, right? Like the number one offense that they were. That was really loud.
Yeah, sorry about that.
if the Panthers were like, let's see, the Carolina Panthers that year, I mean, weren't they like a top 5 offense? So you're telling me that
Didn't Cam win the MVP?
Yeah,
that
Cam
year?
won the MVP. If Cam plays like the MVP, dude, I'm pretty sure the Panthers won that game by like 2 scores. But
yeah, that's what a good defense would do.
yeah, I mean, again, we're gonna get into another team that definitely shut down an MVP as well. Actually, I think there's multiple teams on here that shut down an MVP. But
regular season MVPs don't have a very good look in the Super Bowl.
They really don't. No, they really don't. But 2015 Broncos for me. How about your 10?
All right, my number 10 is Super Bowl 51, the New England Patriots.
So the
year they came back 28-3.
The 2016 Pats.
Yeah.
Wow, I have that way higher.
Nope.
Okay, well, what's your reason? I like to hear your reasoning. I have a Pats team lower than that.
I'm just I do have a little bit of hatred for the Pats.
I hate the Pats too.
I think they've had some of the most overrated teams in Super Bowl history throughout.
Yeah,
I think they've been extremely lucky.
We don't like Boston. We don't like Boston here.
No, Boston anything in sports is,
it's terrible. It's so bad.
But they were average across the board in my mind, and they ran into not a very good NFC team that year.
No.
I mean,
the NFC
that Atlanta team might be one of going back throughout these 10 years of Super Bowls, they may be one of the worst teams that's played in that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know about that. I really just I really think that he just got like Matt Ryan like really choked. I think it's a talented team. They had a pretty good receiving core. They have Julio Jones in his prime. You got a great running back duo in Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman that year.
Well, yes, they had some skill pieces, but
Yeah.
we just spent a half hour talking about
The
trenches.
yeah, you're right.
And
Wait,
they didn't have a lot of horses on either side of their trench.
Was Grady Jarrett on that team that year? Do you know?
I can't remember.
I don't
You're
remember.
asking a lot of me.
Yeah, I am asking a lot of you.
But
But so it's funny you mentioned that, like how they're like mediocre. You know that like out of all these Pats teams, that this one has like the highest. They were third in offense that season and first in defense.
their defense was legit. But and I said, everyone talks about divisions or conferences. New England's divisions pretty much sucked up until the last 3 years for damn near a decade.
Yeah,
I mean, terrible.
Yeah, like really bad. Like
Like terribly.
Well, listen, we're gonna talk about all-time quarterbacks later, and probably in a later show. But Tom Brady has gotten extremely lucky. I mean, playing the AFC. Are you kidding me? Like you're playing the Bills in the 2000s like twice a year, and the
Bills. I mean,
the Dolphins and the Jets.
The Jets. I mean,
Like,
they've been cupcakes for well over a decade.
It's like every year you can lock them to win at least like 11,
Yes, they
10,
end
11
up
games.
winning in the playoffs. Yes, they did. But
Yeah.
most of their teams were defensive oriented.
Okay, yeah.
And
Great defense though.
And,
Great defense.
The to add to the pile, I guess I'll go to number 9.
Oh, okay.
That's Super Bowl 53. New England beating the Rams.
Yeah, I had them at 8. So
I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
yeah, that
the Rams totally choked. That's I'm sorry, but McVay's not a big game coach. I don't care what anyone says.
Wow, even after the Super Bowl last year, you don't think?
No, that team was stacked.
That team was ridiculous. Yeah,
That's obviously, and that team has not come up on my list yet. So
yeah,
yeah. And another, I said they played a young Cincinnati team and barely beat them.
yeah.
I just I don't know. Defense travels. If you look at the theme through a lot of these teams, they had pretty solid Ds.
Yeah, all of them I think had elite defense.
Either elite or at least
top 10.
At least top 10.
Yeah,
all of them.
So I'm gonna do my number 9. I know this is gonna seem a little bit controversial. I know there are a lot of diehard Ed Reed and Ray Lewis fans out there, but I'm going with the 2012 Ravens.
It's funny you bring that up because that's my next one.
Is it? Yeah. So I know a lot of people like to hype up Ray Lewis, and I think Ray Lewis is the best linebacker ever. I mean,
he was at twilight of his career. At that
yeah,
point.
but he was not. Listen, he was still really good in the defense. But again, you look at like their stats that year.
Mm-hmm.
They were 10th in defense and 12th in offense. Like, how does that? Joe Flacco had the most incredible, like one of the most underrated postseason runs I think in NFL history that season. That team had no business being in the Super Bowl that year. I cannot believe that neither Denver nor New England made it that year. That I think it's wild. I mean, again, great that defense stepped up in the playoffs though. You watch those games, that defense did step up in the playoffs, but there's not the only thing that I can really give a compliment of them in their offense is that Ray Rice, the woman respecter Ray Rice, he was really good. He had like over 1,600 yards from scrimmage, but usually like when I like look at these teams, I factor in their run games. Like I think that's really important, and I think the Ravens had a good run game, but their pass game was atrocious, and they were not that good of a team.
All right.
So I said my number 8 was the 2018 Pats. You said yours was the 2012 Ravens. Do you want to chime in on more about the 2012 Ravens and why they're number 8 for you?
Yeah, Joe Flacco, quarterback. I mean,
that's foul.
I don't know.
That's foul.
He had a good playoff run a couple times.
Incredible,
but,
legendary playoff run.
We can't take that away from him, but at the end of the day, it's still Joe Flacco,
Yeah.
and
And if I'm throwing all of these teams into a gauntlet
Right.
and like how confident I am, I think they're ninth. Right.
Yeah, I have them at eighth. It's that you're splitting hairs.
These are all. Listen, at the end of the day,
They're all Super Bowl champs.
yeah. Like I know that. Like I mean, some people are like, oh, why'd you have this team here? Why'd you have this team here? First off, it's our opinion. I don't care. All right. Second
I'll
off,
say you
right?
could-
It's like again, we're splitting hairs at this. I think there is a tier jump though when we get like close to the top 5. Like I think there are a lot of teams that are actually like would kick the shit out of some of these other teams, like if they played like 1-on-1.
Right.
But anyhow, I'm gonna get to my number 7.
Okay.
This might really upset you because I heard what you said earlier about the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 2021 Rams.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you look at their finishes: 5th in offense, 7th in defense. The defense I know is the Von Miller addition was huge for them in the playoffs. Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, all great players. Jalen Ramsey, really weak at the linebacker position. Like I'm talking really weak. Their linebackers sucked. They were terrible. Their safeties were also like pretty garbage. Like everyone hyped up Ian Happ all season. Ian Happ. You know what Ian Happ's doing right now? I don't even know what Ian Happ's doing right now.
Well, and I'll give it to you. And I said I'm not far off of that either. So they played a young Bengals team.
Yeah, if they played
that Bengals team that had no offensive line last year.
They played that Bengals team this year. I'm pretty sure the Bengals won.
Well, if the Rams played anyone this year, I'm pretty sure they.
No, but I'm saying if you took that 21 team, right?
Yeah.
And you put them against the right now Bengals, right? I'm pretty sure. I think the Bengals beat them because that offensive line got like, even though it's still like, I mean, average-ish, it's still way better than what it was. I mean, back last season it was like a bottom 7 offensive line. It was really bad.
Yeah.
And the fact they even made the Super Bowl is incredible.
Right.
But
no, I said it was a good run for Cincy, and it came to an end. But I said the 23-20 score against a young team.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. I'm gonna be honest. They should have won that game by more. But again, they didn't have a run game. So I want to talk about their offense, right? It was literally just Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
Well, it was Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, it was literally Cooper Kupp.
And the thing was, he was just wide open.
Yeah,
he
he had an elite season that year. He had probably a top 5 receiving season ever that season. And also the OBJ thing. OBJ was balling. Actually, I'm pretty sure if OBJ doesn't tear his ACL, he won Super Bowl MVP because he was already balling. But before then, and they had Bobby Trees, Robert Woods, who got tore his ACL midway through the season. Which I mean, they don't sign Odell if Robert Woods gets hurt. So
right.
So if we're assuming these teams are fully healthy, I don't think we can add Robert Woods to that. I think it makes it a little bit unfair. But the receiving core of Cooper Kupp, OBJ, and Robert Woods is pretty damn good. But no, we're not going to count that. And also the running backs are Cam Akers, coming off the torn Achilles, was their number 1, and Sony Michel, who's washed, and a rookie Darrell Henderson Jr. was
right.
that was the running back core. And they had a okay line, pretty average, nothing like incredible, but
right.
The stars on the defensive side of the ball for that team were incredible. I mean, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Jalen Ramsey all balled out during that playoff run, except for the Jalen Ramsey in the Super Bowl. He got fucking cooked by Jim Arnty.
Yeah. And Ramsey does have those games here and there.
Oh yeah, I mean look at the beginning of the season this year. Like Ramsey gets cooked by Stephon Diggs, and we all count him out. Like not saying he's top 5 anymore.
Right,
so,
right.
But anyhow, do you want to? What's your 7? I'm curious.
My 7th, we've already gone over. It was Denver.
Oh yeah, Denver. Yep. You want to chime in a little bit more?
There's really not much to be said more on that. I said you had the Twilight Payton on that team, and you had an outstanding defense.
Oh god, that defense was so good.
That
defense was awesome.
And they played, an MVP Cam Newton team, which is great, but they weren't. Carolina wasn't a deep team throughout. That was a weak year for the NFC.
That was a really
actually a couple of them years back to back were just weak NFC years.
Yeah.
We've already went over that, but you had Carolina and Atlanta going back to back Super Bowls.
Remember
that just tells you how weak the NFC East and NFC West were all, during those couple lean years there.
Dude, I'm sorry, I'm going to get a point. The weapons that Cam Newton had on that team were terrible.
Exactly.
Wasn't Devin Funchess their number 1 that year? and
Yeah, and I don't think he was in the league for another 2 years after that.
Jonathan Stewart and listen, shout out to Greg Olson though. He was a really good tight end, but
But he was at the end of his career.
yeah, I
too.
mean,
so
that's it.
good announcer though. I do like his announcer.
Oh, dude, I love Greg is awesome. I'm really scared for when Tom Brady. I think isn't Tom Brady supposed to replace him? I heard something about that. Tom's supposed to replace him, which is
He has a standing contract for
like 10 years,
10 years.
240 million or something like that.
It's like 150, like 10 mil a year for 10 years.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
Good.
No, 15 mil a year for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, good for Tom, man. He's living, but I mean, I am gonna miss Greg if he's not on Fox anymore. I think he's a great commentator.
Right. So, and I said we've already talked about this. My number 6 was the Rams. So,
Yep.
the Rams over Cincy. I said they had a bunch of good free agents on that team and everything else, but I wasn't impressed. I don't know. It seemed like a blah game and a blah Super Bowl, and
I was excited for it because like the Bengals, so that's a really young, exciting team.
I was rooting for the Bengals in that game, and I said I'm a big
I
like Chase. Yeah. I mean, I like their cornerstone pieces.
Yeah, we love the LSU boys.
Yeah, and but yeah, I don't know. It's just blah, and I got him a 6.
Yeah. The Ram, like we said, I think the Rams definitely should have won that game by a lot. They should have won that. Yeah, they should have won that game by like 2 possessions.
Right, should have, and I think they get knocked a little bit for that.
Yeah,
so.
that probably has to do with it. So my number 6 is the 2016 Pats, like we talked about earlier. I mean, great team. Like I said earlier, third in offense, first in defense. That's like the best finish I think about anyone we're gonna talk about on this list. The weapons they had were solid. You got Edelman and Gronk. You can't really go wrong with that. And you got Tom, who's arguably the greatest of all time. Most people's eyes he is, and that defense was elite. Any defense coached by Belichick is gonna be elite. They had the greatest comeback in arguably sports history. We're at number 6 right now. I mean, all these teams are good. I'm not trying to knock any. I just think the 5 teams I have had of them are just a little bit better. They have better qualities. You look at the running game for New England that year. I think wasn't it the 18 touchdown LeGarrette Blount year?
For New England?
Yeah.
I believe so.
I think that was the 18 touchdown LeGarrette Blount year, where he had like 800 yards but had like 18 touchdowns because they gave the ball to him every time in the 1 yard line.
The Jamal Williams effect.
But all right, so we're now in the top 5. This should be fun.
Right.
Do you want to give my number? Do you want to give number 5?
Number 5, I have the 2019 Chiefs.
Oh, that's my number 5.
Well, there you go. Let's talk about it. So, they have Patrick Mahomes,
the GOAT. I call him the GOAT.
He's making a claim on that. He's not there yet. He's working on it. But yeah, I mean, Kansas City, they had Tyreek Hill, they had Travis Kelce, and then Mahomes.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a hell of a lot more other than that.
Their defense was really underrated that year.
It was underrated, but it wasn't. It's probably one of the weaker defenses on this list.
It was a top 10 unit. Finished 7th.
You could say that about every team we just talked
No,
about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
We're talking about Super Bowl winning teams here.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of the weaker defenses on this list.
Yeah, probably.
In San Francisco, young coach at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the game got a little big for them. They still had talent, though.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with a 3-headed monster of Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce.
No, and I think, that was just an overwhelming effect for them at the time. And, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from either team, but, yeah.
And good offensive line that year. They had Schwartz and Eric Fisher, I'm pretty sure, still on the team. Those are pretty solid pieces.
Right. I think San Francisco was dealing with a lot of injury.
Yeah.
In that game.
Shout out Jimmy G, man. Shout out Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think you kind of hit the.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to say about it.
Yeah. It's just like I think Mahomes, Kelce, Hill single-handedly bumps this team up to the top 5 because their just offense was just so elite. It was unstoppable.
Right.
And then you have Andy Reid obviously scheming, who's arguably the best offensive coach ever, maybe besides like Bill Walsh or something like that.
Right.
But
anyway, all right. So our last 2 picks were a wash. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, we go to number 4 now.
all right, I'll give you my 4.
You want to take 4? Okay.
Yeah. It's the Eagles.
Really?
Yeah, number 4. Listen, I love that team to death.
Yep.
They won, the city of Philadelphia, its first championship since the Phillies in 09 or something, 09, 08, something like that. My reasoning really is that if I look at the Eagles team from that year and compare it to the Eagles team from this year, I don't even think that 2017 team competes, to be honest.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't at all.
I mean, the one thing about that team was very.
It was old depth.
Once Carson Wentz went down, that the team's mentality.
Oh yeah, I mean you look at interviews from Kelsey all year.
It was a tough, hard note. They were deep on.
Oh yeah.
At a lot of positions, so because they dealt with a lot of injuries.
That running back room was really deep. You had Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount, Corey Coleman.
Yeah,
I mean, none of them were elite backs, but they're all serviceable.
They were pretty. I mean, the Super Bowl didn't seem to be that fit, but they were a physical team.
Yeah.
For not to get off base, but they don't hold a candle to this year's team.
No, they really don't. Also, you look at the wide receivers on that team. Our number 1 is a washed Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon was not him on Philly. He good, consistent, but he was not a true number 1. Again, like I said, the running game's good. Nothing that really blows you out of the water. And looking at the team defensively, I thought the team, if you look at the defense, I think it's pretty weak. Great defensive line as per usual from Philly, but you look at the linebackers.
They had no linebackers.
Yeah, no linebackers. Jordan Hicks was hurt, but even if they're all healthy, I mean Hicks is really good, but he doesn't carry a linebacker room. The safeties, you got Malcolm Jenkins holding it down, who was a great safety, and then who were our corners that year? Jalen Mills and what the fuck? Patrick Robinson, right?
He was our slot.
Who's the guy on the outside?
The free agent. He's on.
Sidney Jones?
No, he was our 5th string. He was a big free agent. What the hell is his name?
I gotta look this up. I cannot believe we're Eagles fans and we don't even know who the hell this corner is. Hold up. Wait, but keep talking about the. If you want to talk about anything I said.
No, I mean the secondary is solid. I mean, it was patchwork at times, but it was solid. So they had actually a very positive defensive line that year as well. A good offensive line as usual. The weapons weren't great.
Corey Graham?
No, it's oh man,
Sidney Dexter McDougal. Oh, was it Ronald Darby?
Darby, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. That's who it was. Right. Okay, I had to. Oh yeah, dude. Darby was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
He was just hurt all the time. That's the problem. Darby was he's one of those corners that's always hurt, but when he plays,
right.
He's
So
pretty
we had
solid
safeties. Not spectacular, but solid corner. We had a solid secondary.
Yeah. Again, this team is it's just really well rounded. It's not.
The offense was physical.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was. I said they didn't have that much explosion. Man, hey, the guys, they made plays. It was just the year, man.
Yeah, my reasoning.
And they were the best team in the league that year. Don't get it twisted.
No, they were.
And it showed all year long.
Yeah, it did. I mean, you win with a backup quarterback in the Super Bowl. So yeah, again, like I said, you look at the trenches, but outside of the trenches, right, offensive line and defensive line, they're a solid team. There's nothing elite though that really stands out to me. The trenches are elite though. They're definitely were both top 5 units that year.
All right.
But I think the next 3 teams we're talking about some serious talent.
Right. Well,
give me your number.
We have ours flop.
Give me your number 4. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is New England.
2014.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I get that. So
my basically I don't know where you have New England, but because I had Philly at 3.
No, actually you're right because I have New England on my 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best team Tom Brady's ever played on. Well, besides the Bucs, but we're gonna talk about them later. But yeah. Do you want to give me your reasoning why you think Philly's a better team than 2014 New England?
I just think it was just an overall better unit team.
They had some studs in New England, man.
They did.
Some studs.
They did. I mean, and I don't know. That's probably some of my bias coming.
Yeah,
out.
But
But
I'm not gonna.
the reason I and I have New England that high. They beat a really really good Seattle team.
I cannot believe Seattle didn't win that fucking game.
I mean, we haven't got to them yet, and there's good reason for that.
Mhm.
But and there was some luck involved. I mean,
For sure.
I
Come on now.
So I mean, this team shouldn't even be on the list if you ask me, because they shouldn't have won that game. But they were very good that year.
Do you want to hear some of the names on that team?
Hmm.
Like you got Darrelle Revis, who made an All-Pro team that year, first team All-Pro. You got Malcolm Butler on that team. You got
Cordy, right?
Yeah, the Cordys. You got Rob Ninovich. Vince Wilfork was still on that team, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
well,
was a talent.
I mean, he wasn't
was a beast,
Vince,
yeah.
but like he was pretty freaking good. Jamie Collins is elite on that team.
Yeah.
You got Dante Hightower still on that team in his prime. Akeem Ayers, Chandler Jones was on that team.
Yeah. I said that's the best New England team.
Patrick Chung.
Besides that 2007 team,
yeah,
that didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that was
they didn't win the
probably their
Super Bowl.
best team.
Yeah, this team is insane. The defense on this team is ridiculous.
And there's a reason. Sorry, they didn't run Marshawn Lynch on the goal line.
Yeah, because
that's because of those names you just fired off.
Look at the guys in the front seven were ridiculous, but even then, they still should have given the ball to Marshawn Lynch. But sorry, Seattle fans. I don't really know how much else to say this, but yeah, that stud unit, just a stud defense, man. Like the defense is ridiculous, and you have the offense, dude. You still have Gronk and Edelman and Brady all in there. So I mean, all like two guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famers, and I mean Edelman, who's like one of the better slots in recent history. So I mean, they're a pretty dominant team. I don't see a lot of holes in this roster except these next two teams, which are ridiculous.
Yeah, so we had those flopped, and obviously we have two teams remaining, right?
Yeah. The best Brady team is coming up.
Right, and I have them number 2.
I also have them number 2.
Yeah, they were loaded both sides of the ball.
I'm so glad we agreed on number 1.
Right. I mean,
but we can talk. Well, let's talk about Tampa Bay first. I want to talk about Tampa Bay because I think a lot of people might have Tampa Bay lower than this. And
that team was scary. It was. I said. Not only could they run, like, they had speed, but that was just a powerfully built team. They had beef and studs everywhere.
By far that year, the best linebacker duo in the NFL
That's
that
ridiculous.
season, and Devin White. And you look at that defensive line. You have Sue, you have Shaq Barrett, you have Vita Vea.
Oh yeah.
All three of those guys are at least Pro Bowl caliber. And then, I mean, the corners, you got Jamal Dean that year, who's great. Antonio Winfield Jr., who was in the Defensive Rookie of the Year race that season.
Yep.
They had Jason Pierre-Paul, who had a double-digit sacks that year. Did he have double? I just want to fact check that. I don't want to lie to anybody, but I'm pretty sure Jason Pierre-Paul had double-digit sacks that year. I'm just gonna double check. You can keep talking about them if you'd like. Yeah, he did. He did. He had Oh wait, no, he did. He had 9.5. I'm sorry, basically double-digit, but.
No, I mean, I say, and and the theme I'm going through, I like physical football teams, and they were very physical.
And by the way, we're only talking about the defense right now. We haven't gotten the offense.
Well, but they were physical in the offense.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
top 5 offensive line that season.
I mean, Fournette had a career resurrection that year.
Yeah,
I mean, he looked unstoppable
and
in the
playoffs. He was ridiculous.
I mean, playoff Lunny's a thing.
Yeah.
And they would just pound it and throw the ball over the top.
With Mike Evans and Chris Godwin,
right,
and Antonio Brown,
right,
and Rob Gronkowski,
and Gronk with Brady throwing the ball
with Brady.
it was a pretty sick
I-
squad.
Listen, it's actually kind of hard.
I'm glad it was only a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I'm really glad that injuries and other factors
No, we're
deteriorated.
never glad about injuries.
Yeah, well, we're glad that we didn't have to deal with that Brady thing for as long as we had to, and it's actually kind of hard to argue that they aren't one, but I think
obviously we both have Seattle that won.
that team was insane.
That defense was redonk.
I think
the Legion of Boom was a thing, and it was awesome.
I know this might sound ridiculous, but I think you can make a genuine argument that there was like 5 first-team All-Pro defensive players on that team that
I don't
season.
even know if it's an argument. There could have been.
I can check that, but
I bet you there's a couple at least.
you got Sherman, you got Chancellor, you got Earl Thomas, you got Bobby Wagner, you got Michael Bennett in his prime. You got Malcolm Smith, who won Super Bowl MVP that year. It's just
that team should have won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
I agree that this. Oh God, I cannot believe how good this team was. Cam.
They were so fast
and so explosive.
They were just everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the linebackers: Bobby Wagner, Malcolm Smith, KJ Wright.
Yeah,
studs. All 3. Right.
Everyone in the secondary, stud.
Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, and Brian Maxwell.
Yeah.
Super underrated corner, by the way. Brian Maxwell.
Yeah, he got a huge contract.
Yeah, he got a bag from Philly. They gave him a bag.
Didn't work out great, but he played pretty damn good that year in Seattle. But I guess you got 3 All-Pros around you. You're doing it right.
Dude, they had Bruce Irvin on this team.
And then you got Marshawn Lynch running.
Cliff Averill, by the way, on that
Yeah,
defense.
yeah.
Dude, the defense literally had literally the entire starting defense could have been in the Pro Bowl.
Statistically, is one of the top 3 defenses of all time.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no getting around it.
Yeah, you got their. Let's see, what did they finish that year? They finished. Yeah, they were the number 1 defense that year. Yeah, and 8th in offense.
Right.
But
that was with a young Russell Wilson.
Was he a rookie that year?
No,
he was second year. Okay, I just had to make sure.
No, he wasn't a rookie, but he was young. I think it was his second or third year.
Yeah.
But I said their defense was suffocating, and they could run the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
And Russell made a play when he needed to make a play.
Yeah.
It's just they were a freight train, and it's kind of. New England kind of stopped that train in the following year, and I said there's no reason that team should have won 3 chips in a row.
Also, the receivers, Golden Tate and Doug Baldwin, by the way, too, pretty solid options.
Good, not spectacular, but pretty good. Pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah. Really young Doug Baldwin, though. I think it was his rookie season, and Golden Tate was also very young, just getting started. I mean, they weren't in their primes yet, but
they both went on. They both have solid careers. So
they had Percy Harvin in that team too, didn't they?
Yes, but Percy Harvin.
I mean, elite return guy though.
Oh, well, yeah. I'd say they had so much speed on that team.
Yeah,
they were everywhere. Defensively and offensively. Then I said Marshawn Lynch was a freight train.
Oh, wait, was he not on that team?
Who?
I don't think Percy Harvin was on that team that year.
He might not. I don't know.
I guess
might have been a little late.
Yeah, I think even later, a bit early, because I'm looking at it. They had Brandon Browner on that team, too. Dude, what the hell?
Yeah, they're stacked, man.
Dude, that defense was ridiculous. All-time great defense for sure, arguably the best. But
yeah, I'm not to say that.
I know.
I'm gonna. That's statistically I think a top 3 defense of all time.
Yeah, probably.
And it showed. I mean, look, what the hell is this? 43 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I had Denver winning that game too. That was one of the first Super Bowls I actually watched as a really little kid, and I had Denver winning because I really wanted Peyton Manning to win. That didn't pan out so well.
No.
So
yeah, that was a Peyton Manning led Broncos team.
Wasn't that the Peyton year where he went off? Or no, I think that might have been the season after. Remember when Peyton broke the single season passing yard record?
That was the second year.
That was the second year in Denver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then he won the bowl last year.
Yeah. Good for Peyton, man.
Yeah. So it looks like our list pretty much jived
pretty
up.
similar. I think the only thing that we really disagree on is that you have the 2016 Pats you have them 10, I have 6.
Yeah.
So that's pretty big in a gap.
Say
but
that's probably my Boston bias.
yeah,
but,
no,
I mean,
I don't disagree with you.
but
I want to be fair though. I want to be fair.
I mean, I thought I'm trying to be fair as well. It's like, who are you going to bump out? You know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Again, it's pretty hard.
I gave him the respect. You know, I had the I had the 2014 team up there. So
yeah, I mean, didn't we both have him as you had him 4, right?
got him 4.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that was a really fun segment. I'm glad we did that. We definitely had some
Absolutely.
good talks. So for our next topic, we're getting a little bit towards the end of the show, but there's been a quarterback who's been in the news a lot lately with rumors about where he might go. And that's Aaron Rodgers. There have been some people talking about him going to Oakland, some people talking about him going to the New Jets. We don't know about that yet. But I think it'd be interesting to do a little would you rather Aaron Rodgers edition. So I'm going to give you a quarterback. You're going to tell me would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or said quarterback. Starting off
right now.
So heading into next season.
Okay.
Let's do heading into next season. I don't want to do so heading into next season, who are you more confident in? Aaron Rodgers or Justin Herbert?
Rodgers.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna piss a lot of people off.
I'm
not a big Herbert guy either.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers just came off back-to-back MVPs. Yeah, he's one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's pretty good. A lot of people probably think he's a wash, but I mean,
it's recency bias because he had a down year. But
okay,
what's Herbert done? Not a lot.
Choke in the playoffs.
Regular season wonder and
puts up good counting stats on mediocre efficiency, but we're not going to talk about that. Aaron Rodgers or Trevor Lawrence? Rodgers. Okay, I'm gonna take T-Law on that. Oh, I'll also take Rodgers over Herbert, by the way, but I'm gonna take Trevor Lawrence. The Jags, they're gonna be a very sneaky team next season. I'm calling it.
I know, but we're not talking about teams. We're talking.
No, but I'm just saying in general. I think Lawrence is a dark horse MVP candidate next season. Russell Wilson.
Oh, Rodgers for sure. Wilson. I don't know, man.
You think Russ is done?
Something's going on in his life where football's not number one anymore.
Okay.
That looks pretty obvious to me.
Okay.
From looking the outside, looking in, I don't know. Maybe Peyton will squeeze it out of him. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Rodgers though too. Again, Rodgers before last season had like two of the most efficient quarterback seasons ever. So they're pretty impressive. Next name, Lamar Jackson.
Rodgers.
Okay, so you're saying if the Jets...
There's only 2 quarterbacks I probably wouldn't... We should have skipped this whole thing, and I'll get right to the...
Really? Okay, because I'm taking Lamar. I really...
I mean, basically, Mahomes and Burrow are probably the only 2 quarterbacks
so
that would take over Rodgers.
So you're taking Rodgers over Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Rodgers over Jalen Hurts?
Yep. To be honest.
Are you serious?
I don't know. I'm just being honest.
Dude. Wow.
I don't like it, but that's just... I mean,
listen.
if he has another down year, he's probably done.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, if you're living... I mean, 2 of the past 3 years, he's won an MVP.
Yeah, I know.
He still has armed. I don't know. Maybe his head's out of it too. I don't know. I'm just talking about. I mean, he's a superb talent.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, he was 15th in passer rating this year.
Yeah, he had a down year this year.
Okay. All right. Well, wow. That's wild. So you're saying Rodgers is still a top 3 quarterback?
Would you say that going into this past year? Would you say that?
Yeah, I had him number 2.
Okay,
I had Allen. I had Burrow 3, Rodgers 2, Mahomes 1 for my top. That was my top 3 heading into the series, and Allen was 4.
Right. So now all of a sudden he's not that anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Really?
I
One down year makes the man, huh?
especially given his age, he's what 30?
Shit, he's a decade younger than Brady.
Dude, he's 39.
Yeah.
That's not a decade. He's gonna be,
Six
he's gonna be-
years younger
He's
than
gonna be
Brady.
40 next year. 40.
Okay, he's 6 years younger than Brady.
I don't know about that.
I mean, like just having just say for a quarterback for a year.
Yeah.
But like moving forward with like 3-year plan or
A 2-year plan. So okay.
yeah, you know what I mean. That makes a different story.
So you're saying that like you're
Like
confident.
if
So
you're talking like say a 3-year plan, I probably have at least. I probably have, more than a half dozen quarterbacks above him.
okay. So you're saying next season Rodgers
Like for
is going to be top 3.
like a 1-year wonder. I mean, it depends on where he goes.
So Rodgers to the Raiders, is he top 3?
Statistically, he might be.
Okay, Rodgers to the Jets.
I like Lamar going to the Jets. I hope he does.
I want that too. I really want the AFC East to just be
That's
an
a young
absolute,
team.
Yeah,
Rodgers would hate that team
yeah, probably.
because it's all young.
And especially if Lamar gets a long-term deal, think about it when him and Brees Hall are healthy. Think about that read option. That's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah, and plus they got some weapons.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore is still there. I guarantee you Elijah Moore is definitely gonna get a lot more targets next year too. I know he was frustrated and
Well,
was supposed to trade.
any quarterback's gonna give him more targets.
Yeah,
just a
not-
really shitty quarterback.
Yeah, not
play this
Zach
year.
Wilson and Mike White for your starters. But okay, wow, that was something real. So you heard it here first, guys. Brandon is guaranteeing that Rodgers is gonna be a top 3 quarterback next year.
I don't guarantee anything.
Well, he said he's a top 3 quarterback for next year. I'm
just.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I get it.
I don't know. You watch football. He looked
I-
pretty good to me.
I mean-
he wasn't making the guys weren't making the plays.
I don't-
but
yeah,
man, he can still whip the ball.
Yeah, I mean
he's
he,
still pretty mobile.
and he's really intelligent too. Like he's
And he
he's
knows-
a great
and he
football
knows
guy.
ball.
Yeah, he knows ball.
I mean, I don't know. Like if
Okay.
you had a playoff quality squad and bring Rodgers on it,
So what do you think?
I mean, he'd elevate. He elevates guys.
So my question is, what do you think Rodgers would do with the Seahawks if you switched Rodgers and Geno out? What are the Seahawks? Are they beating the Niners?
They don't have the Seahawks are young right now. They don't have the depth of.
Okay, but that's what I'm
Beat the
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Niners,
I think the gap between Rodgers and I think Rodgers is way closer to a guy like Geno Smith right now.
Wow. See, so you have recency bias going two ways there. You got a guy that's never really done anything having a career year. Then you have you have the guy that's pretty much been considered the top quarterback in the league over past
not just
6, 7, 8 years.
Geno isn't just having a career year; he's having an incredible year. If you look at every efficiency metric, Geno was top 5 in that metric.
I know. How about the rest of his career? Is he top 5 of anything?
Well, he wasn't given a shot, man.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
He didn't write back this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
But we'll do a Geno Smith one. Probably
He wrote a
later
long
on.
letter in the playoff game. I'll tell you that.
Dude, they were playing the 49ers, man. Come on now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well. I don't know.
I'm just saying they were playing like the second most talented roster in football.
So you have a Super Bowl quality team, and you'd rather bring on and you just need a quarterback to get you over the hump for this year. You would bring in Geno Smith over Aaron Rodgers.
Depends on the team dynamic.
Oh, stop!
I'm serious.
Come on.
If they want a guy to throw the ball like 30 to 40 or like 40 to like a ton, I don't know how many a lot of attempts is, but high 500s to 600s in attempts. Yeah, I'll take Geno.
Oh boy.
But if it's just a game manager role, I'm taking Rodgers.
A game manager role? Oh.
Yeah, like what Jimmy Garoppolo does for
Wow,
San Francisco.
the mighty have fallen in Ian's eyes.
Listen, I still think he's a top 10 quarterback, but I don't know if he's.
So what's Geno, top 3 or in your book? I mean,
yeah, he's also top 10. I think that they're neck and neck for me.
Oh wow, okay.
But
well, we're not seeing eye to eye on that subject.
No,
so
we're not.
Might as well move on to the next one.
Geno's him. All right, that's all I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we're done with the NFL for today. that was definitely had some very great football discussions there. But let's talk about the basketball thing, because we got two sports that we like to do on this podcast, and
yeah, I mean, I will say that I haven't been following as closely because football season's on. But
absolutely.
Once Philly wins on Sunday, my eyes will turn to the Sixers, definitely with more in-depth analysis.
Yeah. I just want to talk about the Kyrie Irving trade, because that kind of broke everything. What exactly does this do for Dallas, do you think?
It does nothing for them.
Wow. Nothing?
No. You have two guys that are probably one of the two most ball dominant players in the league sharing a backcourt.
Yeah, but we saw that with Kyrie and Harden, didn't they? And they both had career years next to each other before Harden got hurt.
Those guys, all three of them together, only played 14 games.
I'm just saying.
You know that, right?
I'm just saying Kyrie and Harden. I'm not saying Harden, KD, and Kyrie. I'm just saying Kyrie, because those are two ball dominant guys, and they had careers playing next to each other.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They're not going to win a championship. I'll tell you that. I don't think it gets them. I don't think it gets them.
Who do you think comes out the West then? Who do you think's coming out the West?
I'm starting to dislike that team. I did like Memphis, but they're starting to rub me the wrong way.
I hate Memphis. I hope they're a first round exit. I really do.
I think the way things are going, they probably are. They just run their mouths too much.
Yeah, no. By the way, if the season ended today, they would play the Warriors.
I'd like to see Denver make it, just so we can vilify Jokic's 3 MVPs in a row.
Yeah, but. No, but like seriously, like, so you're saying Denver's your pick to come out of the West then?
Yeah, it would have to be at this point. I mean,
okay,
unless something changes down the stretch, I don't know.
So
I think Dallas.
Do you think Dallas is the second best team in the West?
Probably not. I'd probably say the Clippers.
The Clippers. Okay, are they the third?
They're probably third now.
Okay, so you have them ahead of Golden State.
Man, Curry, I know, but it's like Curry's like in and out of lineup. I mean, he can't stay healthy this year.
He's been back and he's been pretty freaking good.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count them out just because of the, if they are healthy going into the playoffs. I mean, young teams don't win a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fact.
I think.
But I mean,
I think this is a big move for
young.
Dallas, because. We all could see watching the Mavericks this year. Obviously, Luka, like the Jalen Brunson signing, really hurted the Mavericks. They need a secondary ball handler for Luka, right? They need a guy that can take the load off Luka.
Right. I mean, taking the load off is one thing, but
well, I'm saying Kyrie's
commanding a game is another.
No, I'm gonna say like Kyrie's gonna come in, right? Like I'm probably expecting like 24 points per game probably out of him, right? Somewhere around that range on great efficiency, because he's been a very efficient these last few seasons, and he's not gonna take any of the playmaking role right from Luka. It's the same thing that Brunson was. Brunson was just a secondary ball handler.
Right.
You look at Chris Paul and James Harden, right? They went to the Western Conference Finals, right? And all Chris Paul had to do was just take a little bit of a load off of Harden, who's getting an insane amount of volume. That's really all it is. I don't think it makes them the best team in the West, but I think it makes them.
I know, but
close.
Do you think it's a good trade for them?
Them getting rid of Finley Smith was like really bad. The thing is that I think we were all really just prepared for Kyrie to go to Los Angeles and the Lakers like being able to throw a bag of chips basically for Kyrie Irving. But other reports came out saying that.
I am extremely happy he didn't go to LA.
Yeah, there were reports that came out saying that like literally the Nets didn't want Kyrie going to LA. That like literally they were like trying to not put him in LA.
I have a much greater respect for their front office.
But
I don't know. I mean, Kyrie.
It'll be interesting because they don't have a defense like at all. They don't have a defense, but I think there are a lot of other things we have to factor in. Defense. Like listen, offense in the league right now is an all-time high. Pace is ridiculous. The NBA offensively right now is insane. But we'll see. Playoff basketball though, defense really does matter. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Kyrie's a great great talent, and he has rocks for a head.
That's
Unfortunately,
yeah.
He just I don't know.
Well,
He's kind of burnt down 3 franchises in a row now.
oh yeah, no, I do think he's a team cancer though. If I'm if I'm a Mavericks fan, I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm very scared he's going to ruin
I'm
my
excited for
organization.
I'd be excited for basketball this year.
Yeah, but next year,
I'd be
and
dreading
the
the offseason.
yeah, no, you don't want to deal with that, especially
Because
because like
you give him $50 million a year like he's asking?
no,
Because
there's no way he gets a
After
contract.
they get assets they just
No.
gave up?
Well, I guess reports are that
I mean, if they want to...
no. So there are reports that Mark Cuban does want to give him a contract extension. So I mean, you probably do because you did give them like how many
2 first-round picks and 2 starters?
2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps, and then you 2 starters and your best perimeter defender, your best 3-and-D guy. So
Tell you what, Nets are going to have a pretty good defense.
oh yeah, Nets defense is gonna be good, but that team is not gonna be able to contend for shit.
No.
Because they don't have a second starter.
KD's gone next, so...
Oh yeah, there were reports that it was like Kevin Durant to Portland was a thing that was in the mix. I doubt that's gonna happen. Portland's not even like the 10th seed. They're not even the play-in right now.
Yeah,
I doubt they'll trade for.
I don't see him going to Portland.
I doubt they'll trade for Kevin Durant. So we're gonna talk about the Sixers, and as of this time, right? They're pretty hot. Second, they are
3 games back, something like that.
They are third in the Eastern Conference. They're 3 games back.
Yeah.
Milwaukee leads them by 2 for the second seed. They dropped a pretty embarrassing game to the New York Knicks. So that was a shit show.
Well,
Yet,
I think it was worse losing to Washington.
or Orlando.
Or Orlando.
Yeah,
excuse me.
Orlando. Yeah, no, that was terrible. That losing to.
But I mean, they did win. They have won like 6-7 straight road games till that next game. So I mean, it's a pretty good run on the road.
Yeah, no, they definitely listen. The Sixers, they're definitely playoff ready. I think we have.
Well, the Sixers are going to be better in the playoffs than they are in the regular season.
Yeah.
That's kind of team they probably are right now.
Harden is like, this is the healthiest Harden's been in a while, and you can see. I cannot believe he didn't make the All-Star team. That's a joke.
It's a travesty.
The fact that Drew Holiday. Listen, I know Drew Holiday is an incredible defender. He's a.
What about Halliburton over him?
No.
Exactly.
No. Well, no. Well,
I mean, they
that's,
do have
that's
some.
tough.
They have
That's
similar
tough.
stats, but I think Harden still leads.
I don't know. Are the the Pacers are really good this year though, aren't they?
Really good.
They're pretty good, man. They are.
Are
Right.
they like 6th?
6th. I think they're.
Maybe 5th. I don't know.
I gotta see. Okay. The Sixers or the. Sorry, not the Sixers. The Pacers are 10th right now. What am I talking about?
I don't know. That's why I'm questioning you.
Yeah, no, never mind. They're 10th. I thought my fault. I thought they were a top 6 seed. I'm tripping. I thought they're already in the playoffs. I don't know. Halliburton and Harden's debatable. The Drew Holiday thing is bullshit.
Either way, Harden should be in the
Yeah,
All-Star
this
team.
is like he's putting up the best efficiency. This is like the best efficiency of his career, and he's having a major impact on the playmaking role for the Sixers.
No, he's settled into his sort of a new late career role really nicely at this point.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's great.
I mean, he's basically your quintessential point guard at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you rather play in point, Harden or what's his face from the Suns?
Chris Paul?
Chris Paul or Harden at this point?
Right now, I'm 100% taking James Harden. I don't know if Chris Paul's like a top 10 point guard right now.
Well, I know, but
he's been pretty bad this year.
But Harden's kind of playing like a good Chris Paul, like that type of game.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just minus the defense, obviously, because they're not even close to the same caliber.
I don't know. I mean, he'll D up when he wants to.
Yeah, he's a pretty underrated a post defender.
He has a thick body.
Yeah, no, he's a big boy.
So I don't know, but yeah, he definitely he got screwed on the All-Star game. I will.
Yeah,
say.
no, that's pretty garbage. I will say though, about talking because we just said how they dropped against the Magic. I really like the Magic. I really like how young they are. They got some really interesting. Paolo looks great. Paulo looks like a stud. I like the group. The thing about the Magic is that they have a lot of pieces that a lot of teams would like to have on their team if they were contending, like the Raptors do. You know what I mean? Like everyone wants OG Anunoby on their team.
They're not doing anything this year.
Yeah, no, they're no like obviously they're not gonna do anything, and they're a lottery team still.
There's a lot of teams that, they look promising, a bunch of young talent, and it never, I don't know. You got to have superstars.
Yeah, and I will say this. I will say this. I think this is like the most talented the Eastern Conference has been in a while. This is a really good Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's a pretty huge disparity between the West and the East.
Yeah, it's night and day. Like I'm looking at I'm telling you right now, if like the Magic played in the West, I'm pretty sure they're in the play-in. Well, I don't know about that. Maybe that's debatable. The Jazz have been pretty hot, but they might be in the 10. But
it's a long season, man.
It is a long season, but we're over halfway done.
The All-Star game.
Let's see how many games are we? We're quite a bit in.
A little past half.
Yeah, a little past half. Sixers have played 52 games so far this season, so we have 30 left.
Yeah.
That's actually on the lower side. I know the Celtics have played 54. Yeah, Bucks have played 54. So yeah, about getting down to the stretch. Pretty excited for playoff basketball, but we'll definitely be talking about all this stuff a little bit more later.
Yeah.
We just want to say thank you guys if you guys listen to this. I had a lot of fun making recording, talking about this stuff and getting it on mic. We will have a YouTube channel as well. Yeah, if you guys could, please follow the podcast on all platforms if you find it. We appreciate the love, and go Birds.
Go Birds. Peace out, guys.